Well, let's find out a bit more about our big guest today. She's Yvonne Thompson. Well, she was one of the founders of Choice FM, which was one of the first commercial radio stations concentrating on black music. She's an expert in marketing and communications. She set up her own PR company in 1983, and she's had almost the entire alphabet after her name. She's a CBE with a PhD, to name just a few of them. She's even had a day named after her in Texas. Well, let's invite Yvonne to come over and join us. I suppose you better come back here as well. Nice of you to come back over.
Thank you very much.
I was worried
nice
about you being stranded over there as well. I'm sorry, I have to ask you this.
Intrigued.
Yvonne Thompson Day. What do they do on Yvonne Thompson Day? How do they market?
Well, you go to America, you impress a local mayor enough for him to name a day after you, which is great.
Do they have a marching band or a cheerleaders?
It wasn't quite as grand. It was a small presentation of a certificate that confirmed that, I think it was the 4th of January, I can't remember the date now, is proclaimed as Yvonne Thompson Day.
I would remember
Very
the date
grand.
if I had a date named after. I'd have it in a big circle and tell everyone.
That would be a huge badge and make sure that everyone knew about it.
Well, congratulations. But
well,
tell
thank
us, how did you make your money and the secret to your success building? You actually built businesses and sold businesses.
I've certainly with Choice FM, I was part of a team. I can't claim that whole thing as my own. I was part of a team, and it was the time. It was the right time. It's been the right time, right place, with the right partners. I've been very, very lucky throughout my whole career, and it's been a long one. So I guess, you know, it's been enjoyable.
But you did, it's very generous of you to say it's right time, right place, but that doesn't happen for everyone, and there has to be something else behind it. So what made you figure out that, one, you had what it took to be part of this team to set up a business, but also to know who to sell to, how to sell to in the right environment?
Well, it was a question of them inviting me on board, to be quite honest. I had worked with the group before, and they invited me on board when we decided to look at the licensing. At that point, the government decided to deregulate the radio licenses, and it was an effort on the government's part to cut out a lot of the pirate radio stations. They thought that would make the difference, but of course everybody has their own opinion of what a good radio station is. So the pirate stations are still around, probably in even more so. But with Choice FM, it was, I think I can quite honestly say, it was the point where black music really came into its own, because we were there, we were able to legally play 24 hours worth of black music, which was then subsequently picked up by your Radio 1s. I think Radio 1's got its own black radio station, Kiss FM, and all the other stations, that now you find black music is an integral part of programming. We got to the point where the team, as it was, found that we couldn't take on the big boys in the commercial sales houses. So we had to decide whether we let it go, whether it was a point we let it go, or whether we carried on. And we decided to, either we were going to try to float it, but that didn't actually work out, because just then 9/11 happened. So we had to wait, we had to delay it for another 18 months or so. And then Capital Radio came up with a reasonable offer.
And that is where you made your money, I'm guessing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You will be a role model for the black community, and you will also know that there are surveys and studies and research that's been done that raises concerns about the level of entrepreneurship in the black community. Do you share those concerns, or do you think that sort of these surveys have got it wrong and there's much more enterprise there than is being officially measured?
I think the surveys and the government reports have got it wrong. There is a lot more out there in the black community. You know, we're all very creative, we're very hardworking, we're very determined, and I think it was you, Declan, I heard you speaking the other night, and you quoted, I think it was Roosevelt, what made a good entrepreneur was get up early, work late, and find gold? Well, the gold for me was Choice FM, and there's lots of different types of gold out there in the black community. I think what is missing is the support, and hence why in 2001 I started an organisation, or as part of a group that started an organisation that was there specifically to help African Caribbean entrepreneurs, the African Caribbean Business Network. And people always say, well, why do you need a separate network? And that is because the minority communities are not receiving or not finding the information in the same way as mainstream. And whilst the government have done all sorts of working with different agencies, such as Business Link, the information's still not getting through to community roots, if you like. So therefore, intermediaries such as ACBM is required.
Yvonne, good to speak with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.